Hey guys, Jeremy here on my second video blog. So I hope that you are going to give me a little bit of grace on the presentation and the technical quality as I work to improve it. But I think these are pretty cool and I hope you're going to enjoy it too. What I want to talk to you guys about in the next couple of blogs is our perceptions and how they affect literally every area of our lives, and all that we do, all that we are is affected by our perceptions. And specifically today, I want to talk about our self-perception, because I think it's hugely important, and it's something that we probably don't think about as often as we should. For any of you that maybe don't know me, I have been a career photographer for the last 10 years. And as a photographer, my job is quite literally to understand and to help people improve the way that they see themselves, to see themselves, quite literally in the best light possible. And I learned something. I learned that it doesn't matter how, it amazed me that people would come to a session that would have, really awesome clothes, really, really cool clothes, and just super neat hairdo or something, and just a rockin' body. And they get there, and I'm like, wow, okay, this is gonna be cool. And when they start shooting, I found out that they really struggle with their self-perception. I'm like, how on earth does this person struggle with the self-perception? I mean, they look so amazing. And I learned over the years that almost everyone struggles with a poor self-perception in one area of their life or another. It may not be their physical appearance, but maybe they feel like, I'm not as smart as everyone else, or, I'm just really not that smart. Or maybe it is, wow, I'm just not good with money. I'm probably never going to have money, and that's just something that I'm not good with. Or, some people, I see a lot of people that have that perception of relationships. I'm never going to have a good relationship. I can just never connect with people. I always self-destruct it. And that's how they go into relationships. And then you have people also that say, man, I'm an outsider. I just never fit in. I dealt with that one for a long time, where I just said, I just can't fit in with people. I'm never going to find a group of people that I fit in with. And all of us, everyone, has some sort of their own self-perception that's negative. Their own version of, I can't do, or I can't be this because of this, the way that they perceive themselves. And I've learned over the years that there's something really powerful about the way that we perceive ourselves, because the way that you perceive yourself is going to be the way that you present yourself to others. And that's really significant, because let me go back to the photography again. I'm going to give you two people, hypothetical people, that I've seen again and again and again. One of them I'm going to call Mary. And Mary comes to the appointment, and she's a knockout. She's what we would consider magazine beautiful. And I'm like, wow, these pictures are going to be amazing. I can't wait to do this session, because I'm going to get lots of business. People are going to see how awesome my pictures look, because Mary looks good. And we go to the session, and it's just awkward. The whole thing is awkward, and she's not feeling comfortable, and she's feeling unnatural, and it shows in every one of her pictures. And then I go to another appointment. We'll call the lady Susan, and Susan's average looking. She's not anything knockout. She's not, on the other end of the scale. And but we go to the session, and Susan has this perception of herself that she's a beautiful person. And so in each of the pictures, she's confident, and she's bold, and she presented herself as a beautiful person. Guess what happens? I get her pictures back, and they're awesome again and again and again. And I've met a whole lot of Marys, and I've met a whole lot of Susans. And Susan will time and time and time again deliver better photographs, because we receive people in the same way that they present themselves again and again and again. And the same thing, it's not just our self-image, self-appearance. It's every way we perceive ourselves. The person that goes into a relationship and says, I can never do relationships, I'm just never going to have a good relationship, that's how they're presenting themselves to that person. Guess what? That relationship fails, because the other person sees and receives a relationship that won't work. And then you have the person that says, I'm never going to have money. I'm never going to be good at business. I can never close a deal. I can never get a promotion. And so guess what happens? They go into interview, and they present themselves as someone who doesn't deserve a promotion, doesn't deserve a raise, doesn't deserve their business. And so what happens? The business gets turned down, the promotion gets turned down, the deal gets turned down. And so it's a vicious cycle, and every area of our life is so hugely affected by the way that we perceive ourselves that we have to look at how do I see myself? Who do I see that I am? And I want to give you 3 quick ways to improve your self-perception. Number 1, huge importance, surround yourself with people who believe in you. Now, this isn't as easy as it sounds because we live in a culture where it's easy to find people who will point out your faults. It's easy to find people who will say, you shouldn't try that because you're probably not going to succeed. Because all these other people are presenting that same negative self-image that they have. But if you can get yourself in a group of people, I'm a huge promoter of churches. A lot of churches in America today are vibrant and healthy places where people are being lifted up and built up, and that environment lifts you up. You know, but if it's not going to be a church for you, maybe you can get in a social group. Maybe you can find, you know, a family member that believes in you, that will speak to that greatness in you. Get around them and get around them often because it's going to make a huge impact on your life. Number 2, find something that you can win at. Maybe it's sports. You know, if you're good at sports, get into sports and win because winning does something to us on an internal level. I remember a couple years ago now, I lost about 50 pounds. And that did something to me on an internal level to stick with something and to win at something really significant that required discipline. It told me on an internal level that, you know what, Jeremy, you can succeed. And that has a huge impact on our life. So if it's not sports, maybe it's not weight loss, maybe it's Scrabble. Maybe you are a crazy awesome Scrabble player. Play Scrabble like a ninja and win. And do it enough to where you get that on inside of you that says, you know what, I can win at something. I can do this. Number 3. It's an important one. Understand this. You are unique in all the universe. There has never been someone that is another you. There never will be someone in the future that's another you. There's no one on the earth today that is another you. You're the only one. And because of this, you are created in a way that you have something to offer this world that no one else can. You have something that no one else can give your company. You have something that no one else in your family can offer to that family, and it's important and it's needed. You have something that no one else can bring to that relationship. You have something that no one else can bring to that social organization or that church. You have something unique about you, and if you can set yourself to finding that, if you can discover it, throw yourself into that because that speaks to you, that says, I have a purpose for being here. I have a reason for being here. I'm important. I have a destiny. And that speaks to our self-image and our self-perception. It raises us up, and we become someone that understands that we are significant. And because of the way we perceive ourselves, that's the way that the world receives us, and it has an impact. I like this last thing. Wayne Dwyer, he says this. He says, change the way you look at things, and the things that you look at will change. And I think that's perhaps never been more true than ourselves. If we see ourselves as a loser, as a failure, as a can't have or do or be, then that's what we're going to be. But if something inside of us, there's a story in the Bible of these the children of Israel where they perceived themselves, they used the phrase grasshopper. I don't know, maybe a grasshopper was weak. I don't know why they used a grasshopper phrase. But they said they perceived themselves as grasshoppers, and it says that that's how the enemy saw them too, because of their self-perception. But when they changed the way they saw themselves, and there were people in the Bible, you know, where God came and talked to Gideon, and he said, you are a mighty man of valor. And it changed her self-perception, and it changed what they did. They did awesome and amazing things because they changed the way that they perceived themselves changed the way they perceived themselves. So last thing, I want to give you guys 3 things that I believe about you. I believe specifically that there is a hope for a better future for you. I don't care what anyone else has told you in the past. Your future can absolutely be better than your past. Number 2, I believe that you can overcome failures. As I'm doing these blogs, I am coming out of a hugely devastating season of my life where it was failure on top of failure on top of failure. And that's part of the reason I do these. I believe that we are called to soar, that we can't let our present circumstances or our past failures dictate our lives and say, that's who I'm always going to be. No, you have the ability to overcome failure in your life. I believe that every one of us is called to soar. And last, I want you to know that I believe that you have the ability to change. if you're stuck in a cycle, as you said, I've done this again and again and again, I've tried and I've tried and I've tried and I've failed, you can change. People can change. I believe that with all of my heart, and I'm wrapping it up today. I hope you enjoyed this podcast, and I hope you'll podcast. That's an idea. Maybe there will be a podcast, but today it's just a blog. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I'm Jeremy. Peace out. I love you. God loves you, and have a great week. And believe in yourself. God believes in you. Believe in yourself.